As people file in, I wanted to introduce myself and share a little bit more about Bunker Labs. My name is Chris Carlson, and I am working on the virtual events task force as we have pivoted to accommodate our community. And for those of you who are not familiar with Bunker Labs, we're a national nonprofit with a local presence and now a virtual presence. Our mission is to ensure the military-connected community has the network, tools, and opportunities they need to start successful ventures, and that's why we're here today. We work to close the ecosystem access gap, is how we think of it, for the military-connected community, and we do that through three ways: connecting, equipping, and inspiring. We have a number of different programs, from Launch Lab Online, Veterans in Residence, CEO Circle, to move you from idea to established business. And along the way, we have Bunker Connect and Bunker Brews. So that should give you a little bit of context to the program and community that we're reaching out to. And I would like to hand things back over to Liz Marion.
Thank you, Chris. As always, and like Chris said, we are, excited to be here in order to offer new opportunities to you as entrepreneurs in order to move your businesses forward. We've been talking a lot about our All-In campaign as we respond amidst COVID-19, but now it is time to rebuild or maybe build your business. So I am really excited to introduce all of you. If you don't know Gino Wickman, or some of you might as well, but Gino Wickman started a movement in the entrepreneurial space that companies use around the world when he founded EOS Worldwide. In fact, Bunker Labs operates under the entrepreneurial operating system that he created. And Gino has been a friend of Bunker Labs for over a year. Our relationship started when he was the keynote in Denver as part of our Muster Across America tour last year. He's authored several books, including Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business, Get a Grip, my favorite, Rocket Fuel, How to Be a Great Boss, and then What the Heck is EOS, that entrepreneurs actually cite every single day around the world as contributing to their success. One such mention actually led to this latest collaboration with Gino that we are all participating in right now, when I sent him a message about Traction being mentioned in a newsletter that I get every morning as part of entrepreneurial ecosystem. But Gino's latest passion, of which he is dedicating all of his energy right now, is the subject that we're going to be talking about today, which is entrepreneurs in the making. In Gino's latest book, Entrepreneurial Leap, he wants all entrepreneurs in the making to find their purpose in life. And that's why we're here today. All of you are military connected entrepreneurs in the making, and I couldn't be more excited to have this opportunity to share with you from Bunker Labs. I'd like to introduce Gino Wickman, and Gino, I will let you take it from here. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Liz, and I am very excited to be here with all of you. I'd like to thank Bunker Labs for all of their efforts in bringing us together. Would also like to thank Chris, who you heard from first. As I mentioned, I'm very excited about this next hour we're going to spend together. And I love that this is a day after Memorial Day. And so I want to start with a thank you to all of you and say thank you for your service, but also personally thank you for my freedom. I don't take that lightly, the sacrifice that you all make. And I can't thank you enough. Words cannot describe the appreciation. And as we get to work, I want to bare my soul with you, if I may, and that is, for 30 years, I have been professionally platform speaking, doing keynotes in front of live audiences. And obviously, the live speaking world was turned on its ear 2 months ago with this pandemic. And to be honest, I was quite bummed when all of a sudden all of my talks now shifted to this, a virtual keynote. And in my bummedness, I had an aha about a month ago. And that is, the other thing that I've been doing for the last 30 years is what I call coffee shop conversations. One of my favorite places is sitting in a Starbucks one-on-one with someone. And so for 30 years, what I've been doing is sitting in a Starbucks with friends, family, entrepreneurs, people that I'm helping, and mentoring and guiding and teaching. And so the aha was, that's exactly what you and I are going to do today, is we are going to have a coffee shop meeting. And so I've got my cup of coffee and my trusty legal pad, and I would urge and ask you to do the same. So whatever it is that you like to drink at 11:05 or 8:05 or wherever you are in the country or the world for that matter, and just kind of hunker down with me for the next hour and let's have a one-on-one conversation. I would urge you to please silence your phone, get it out of your purview so you and I can have a one-on-one conversation. And the way that I think about this is the audience that this conversation is for, and the message is for entrepreneurs in the making, as I call it. It's anyone that thinks they might be an entrepreneur in the making, and you're very interested in taking your entrepreneurial leap. And so the objective and what's going to happen is I'm going to position it as you and I are sitting together with our cup of coffee, and you've asked me a question. And that question is, do I have what it takes to become an entrepreneur? And this conversation, I'm going to take you through three things. And the objective is, number one, to help you confirm whether or not you're an entrepreneur in the making. Then number two, to show you a glimpse of the life. And if you are an entrepreneur in the making, this will light you up and motivate you to move. And then number three, I want to show you the path to help you greatly increase your odds of success and greatly reduce the potential mistakes that you're going to make. You'll still make some of them, but I feel like I can help you eliminate half. And then when we're all done with that conversation in about 30 minutes, we're then going to open it up for Q&A. And so what I ask as we go through this conversation, anytime a thought is prompted, that's why I'm urging you to have something to write on and with. Please write that question down or post it in the Q&A so that we can have a great, robust conversation and get all of your questions answered before we end this conversation. So with that, we're going to take them one at a time. Confirm, glimpse, path, starting with confirm. And with this one, I want to start by saying my goal is to talk you out of becoming an entrepreneur. Because if I can't talk you out, if I cannot talk you out of becoming an entrepreneur, then odds are you probably are one. Because here's the reality. The reality is that being an entrepreneur is not something you do. It is something you are. It is not this perfect step-by-step process. Anyone that's teaching or telling you that, they're misleading you, because the reality is you get a tremendous amount of resources from Bunker Labs that are going to help you succeed. But at the core of all of this, you have to be an entrepreneur. It is something you are. And my discovery is that a true entrepreneur has 6 essential traits. And we're going to do a deep dive into those right now, because what I want you to do is I want you to kind of scan your body to make sure that you possess these 6 essential traits. And so if you'll please write these down, I'm going to give them to you at a high level first, and then I'm going to do kind of a 2-minute riff, really helping you see in vivid color what they are. And so here are the 6 essential traits. They are visionary, passionate, problem solver, driven, risk taker, and responsible. And so again, if you'll jot those down, start thinking about yourself, and then here comes the kind of 2-minute riff, if you will. So now I want to share them, like I said, in vivid color. As I share these, think about yourself. And so here we go. Someone who possesses the essential trait of visionary, and whether you do or not, it means that you have ideas. You simply are an idea machine. The ideas run through your brain. You're able to connect the dots. You see things people just don't see. You have a 6th sense. You are able to see around corners, and you're able to put things together. That's that connecting of the dots. Passionate means you have a passion for your thing, whatever that thing is, your product, your service, the impact you want to have on the world, the dent you want to put in the universe. So you have this incredible passion for your thing. You have strong belief that it will succeed. You're accused of having a reality distortion field, as Steve Jobs was accused of having, because again, you believe in it so much, it's just not realistic. And so you also have this desire to fill a void in the world. Number 3 is that you are a problem solver. Problem solver means that you are a creative problem solver. You, when you get hit with a setback, you lean into problems. You don't run away. While most of the world runs from their problems, you lean in and you have creative solutions to those problems. You're an optimist by nature. You see solutions when, again, everyone else is seeing problems. Driven means that you have this internal fire, this sense of urgency in you, this competitive nature, this desire to succeed. You're self-motivated, you hustle, you love working hard. You tend to be able to outwork everyone else. Number 5, risk taker, is that you don't freeze when it's time to make a decision. There's more to being an entrepreneur than just taking the risk of taking the entrepreneurial leap. It's the 1,000 tough decisions you're going to make over the next 10 years. And when you get faced with those tough decisions, you lean into those decisions. You don't freeze. You're rebellious by nature. You're willing to fail. You don't intend to fail. You don't want to fail, but you know its potential risk is to fail. And you beg for forgiveness as opposed to asking for permission as a general rule of thumb. And then number 6, responsible means that you blame no one. There are 2 types of people on this planet. The one type is when something goes wrong, they blame everyone else. And then the other type are the people that blame themselves. They look in the mirror when something goes wrong as opposed to pointing fingers and trying to find fault with everyone else. You take full responsibility for the outcome. You believe in no entitlement. And the best way I heard it described is somebody who's truly responsible. If their building gets hit by a meteor, they believe it's their fault, which means you chose that building, you chose to move there, you built that building, but you just simply default to how do I solve my problem that I'm presented with? And so there's the body scan, if you will. I want you thinking about yourself right now. And as hopefully that's coming clear, next thing I want you to do is I want you to illustrate an arc on the page in front of you, okay? And I call it the entrepreneurial range. And so if you picture this arc, where on the left side of the range, if you'll write the words self-employed, and on the right side of the range, you'll write true entrepreneur, every person that owns their own business is somewhere on this range that I'm talking about. Well, these 6 essential traits, I'm speaking to people that are on the right side of the range, the true entrepreneurs. And so the point is this: as I'm walking you through these 6 essential traits, you fall somewhere on this range if you desire to work for yourself, if you desire to have your own business. And there's no shame in being on the left side of the range, because the left side, self-employed people, these are the one-person shows, the freelancers, the people with a side hustle, buying one franchise location, a lifestyle business, a consultant, all very appropriate. All you're taking a risk, you're self-employed, it's very respectful. But again, what I'm speaking to are the true entrepreneurs that build organizations with people. And so if you picture all the way to the right side, the greatest entrepreneurs of all time, these are the Walt Disneys, the Henry Fords, the Thomas Edisons, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Sarah Blakely. And so again, we're all somewhere on that spectrum. And as I'm sharing that, and hopefully I'm doing a good job communicating, I want you to actually put a little dash on the line as to where you think you fall. Again, right now, all we're doing is we're just confirming that you're an entrepreneur. And so go ahead and put a dash on where you fall. And then the last tool I want to offer up, and please don't go there yet, but certainly as soon as we're done, I would urge you to go to e-leap.com. That is my website, where I offer 9 free tools there to help you. But the tool I'm talking about here is something called the Entrepreneur in the Making Assessment. And so you can actually go take 10 minutes, fill out an assessment, get a result, and typically if you score 90 or higher, odds are pretty good that you possess these 6 essential traits. And so that is part 1, confirmed. Part 2 is called Glimpse, as I said. And in Glimpse, so the way that I wrote Entrepreneurial Leap, this new book of mine, and this is all the content that I'm sharing with you. And so if you like what you're hearing and you want to go really deep into everything that we're talking about right now, then please go buy the book. At the same time, I'm giving you a pretty deep dive into the book right now, so you decide for yourself. But if you get excited, want to go deeper. But in this second part of the book, Glimpse, what I do are 3 things for you. Number 1, I share countless real-world stories of people who were right where you are right now, looking to take a leap, and you're able to see exactly how they took their leap, what they built, and again, how they did it. The second thing I do is I share with you a day in the life of an entrepreneur so you can vividly see if this is for you. But what I do is, again, always giving you a contrast. I share a day in the life from a standpoint of the dream and from the standpoint of the nightmare. And sadly, most entrepreneurs out there are living the nightmare. I'm happy to say my clients live the dream. And so I've been able to figure out the code, dial it in, and help entrepreneurs build really successful businesses. The reason I'm teaching you that in glimpse is I want you to see those two scenarios, because what I've learned and discovered are the 8 critical mistakes that you tend to make when you take your entrepreneurial leap. And the idea is to avoid all 8 mistakes, as I was able to do 20 years ago when I started this next business that I started, because I had the experience. Well, now you have that experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly at a high level walk through those 8 critical mistakes. And the goal is to get you thinking and just pose your questions on any of these 8 so we can go deeper into it during Q&A. But here are the 8 critical mistakes, high level. You don't have to write them down. Just think about the ones that trigger something for you. Mistake number 1 is not having a vision. Number 2 is hiring the wrong people. Number 3 is not spending time with your people. Number 4 is not knowing who your customer is. Number 5 is not charging enough. Number 6 is not staying true to your core. Number 7 is not knowing your numbers. And number 8 is not crystallizing roles and responsibilities. And so again, if that prompted anything for you, please pose the question so we can talk about that in Q&A. What I want to dive into in this second part glimpse are all of your options as an entrepreneur. And so this is an aha I had a couple of years ago as I was writing this book. And what I realized clearly is that not all businesses are for all entrepreneurs. And there's actually a belief out there that any entrepreneur can succeed in any business. And it's just not true. The discovery and the truth is you are built for something very specific. And the idea is to figure out what you're built for, figure out what you're drawn towards so you make the right choice for yourself, because there are so many options. And I always like to say, there's so much more to becoming an entrepreneur than building a billion-dollar tech unicorn. There's just so much more. Building a $3 million heating and cooling company that throws off a 20% profit with 20 people, that's very admirable. And so with that, you have to decide, what you're built for and what you're drawn to. And I was watching Restaurant Impossible this week or last week, and a guy who's a mathematician bought a restaurant and invested $200,000 of his money into a restaurant, and he's just not equipped to be in the restaurant business. So we'll see what happens to him. But with that said, we're going to talk about your options, okay? And your options fall into 3 categories. The first are industries. And what I want you to know here is that there are hundreds of industries for you to choose from out there. And I'm going to show you where to go access and find all of those industries. And so first step is to decide, what industry are you drawn to? Using me as an example, I'm drawn to the training industry. I'm built to teach and train and help people. And so that's the industry I lean toward over the last 25, 30 years. The second category is the type of business that you're built for and drawn to. When we talk about type, there are 3 types of businesses to choose from there. Once you decide the industry, the first type of business is, are you more of a service entrepreneur or are you more of a product entrepreneur? They are extremely different businesses. Do you prefer to sell a service? Do you prefer to make, distribute, or sell a product? Again, using me as the example, I'm a service entrepreneur. I like to sell the intangible, the invisible, where product businesses give me the heebie-jeebies. It's not for me. I've got lots of successful clients that are product businesses, but when I look at $1 million in inventory on a shelf, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, as I said. Anyway, that just helps me know where I'm drawn, something you need to think about for yourself. The second part of type is to decide, are you a B2B entrepreneur or a B2C entrepreneur? Do you prefer business to business, selling to businesses, or do you prefer business to consumers, selling to consumers? Those are very different sales processes, marketing processes for how to do that. Using me as the example, I'm a B2B entrepreneur. I love selling to CEOs. That's what I'm genetically encoded to do. And the third type of business is high-end or low cost. Are you more of a high-end, high-price, low-volume kind of an entrepreneur, or are you low-cost, high-volume, commodity-based kind of an entrepreneur? Again, using me as the example, I always want to be the highest price in town. I want to provide the most value. I want to be high-end. That's just what I'm drawn to. Both work really well. I've got a client that sells light bulbs, millions of light bulbs every year. And you're fighting for pennies in that business, and he's incredibly successful there. Again, you have to decide what you're drawn to. And the third aspect of choosing your option is size of business. And so, as I mentioned, there's more to being an entrepreneur than $1 billion company, and they're not all they're cracked up to be. And so you have to decide, what is the revenue size that's appealing to you? 5 to 10 million has always been my sweet spot. And so do you want to build $1 million company? Do you want to build $1 billion company, or anything in between? And then employee size. What's a comfortable employee size for you? You may decide you just want to be a one-person show, and that's okay. Or do you want to be responsible for 10,000 employees, or where in between? For me, 50 employees has always kind of been a sweet spot for me. It's right around where both businesses were sold for what that is worth. So again, you've got to decide, what are you built for? What are you drawn to? The tool I'd like to offer you here is I created a tool called Mybizmatch. It's also on the website, e-leap.com. You go there, you spend about 10 minutes doing some soul searching and just clicking on a bunch of buttons that are all these things that we're talking about, and out pops the perfect business, the perfect match for you. And it might be 1, 2, or 3, which is nice to have options, but Mybizmatch urge you to do that. So again, you're getting clear. And now I take you to part 3, which is path. And so path is all about helping you see what's about to happen in advance to eliminate half the mistakes you're about to make. You still need to make the other half. It's all part of the learning process, but it's also designed to greatly increase your odds of success. So again, I'm going to run through the chapters of the book at a high level to prompt questions for you for Q&A, and then we're going to do a deep dive into one particular tool. So the chapters are this: finding your passion. So if you have not found your passion, if it's not crystal clear, it's vital that you do. How to find a mentor. This is going out to the world, finding someone who's where you want to be and getting them to help you, guide you, etc., and exactly how to do that. Next chapter is all about 10-year thinking and the power of shifting your thinking to 10-year thinking. If you do, time slows down, you make better decisions, and ironically, you get there faster. The next chapter is all about the 8 disciplines of building your business. And again, heading off at the pass and helping you build your business. So again, quickly running through them to prompt questions for you. I'm going to move through these kind of fast. Clarifying your vision. Decide if you're a partner person. Know that the bigger problem you solve in the world, the more successful you will be. Get feedback from customers and clients early and often. Know that your first plan will not be your final plan. Number 6, work hard, really hard. Number 7, take criticism and doubt from others with a grain of salt. And number 8, see it every night. And so if that prompts thoughts for you, please ask in Q&A. And then the final chapter is all about the 9 stages of building your company. And here they go. Number 1, generating cash. Number 2, hiring an integrator. Number 3, discovering your core values. Number 4, holding yourself accountable. Number 5, communicating frequently with your employees. Number 6, having a plan B, C, and D. Number 7, staying in your personal sweet spot. Number 8, preventing your business from getting away from you. And number 9, capitalizing on coaching, training, and mentoring. All of that said, the tool I want to drill down on here is having a vision is vital. And so I created a tool called My Vision Clarifier, again, downloadable for free on the website, e-leap.com. But what it does, and I want to get your gears turning right now to have a robust Q&A, is it gets you to understand 8 aspects of a vision when you're about to launch a company. You've got to have absolute clarity around the answer to these 8 things. And so the first is, What is your passion? You've got to be able to say that in a statement. Number 2 is, what are your customers' needs? Point is, you need to know your customer and their wants and needs better than they know themselves, and articulate those. Number 3, who is your ideal customer? This is getting really clear on the demographic, geographic, and psychographic of your ideal client. Who are they? Where are they? What are they? In vivid color, so you know how to speak to them. Number 4 is knowing your pricing structure. So before you launch, you got to know your pricing structure. I will tell you, it will probably change, but you got to go in with clarity, because the first time you start negotiating price, you just got to roll off your tongue. Number 5, and here's where it starts to get real, is you've got to know your 10-year goal. What is the number 1 overriding most important goal for you? You can accomplish anything in 10 years. And so what's that star on the horizon that you're doing all of this for? That will help motivate you. Number 6, what is the 3-year plan? And so I get you to just kind of get clear on what this thing is going to look like in 3 years. What's the plan? Number 7 is, what is the 1-year plan? So we're starting to whittle it down. What do you got to get done this year? And then number 8, what is the 90-day plan? This is the most important piece after all of that clarity, is what are you going to do in the next 90 days to make your business, make your vision a reality? Again, you can download that tool on the website e-leap.com, My Vision Clarifier.